Okay, we will call this meeting to order. Mr. Commissioner Sullivan, would you do the invocation, please?
Father, we are thankful for this day, the rain that you've given us, Lord. At the same time, we mourn over the loss of those in Waverly and just to the west and south of us that had so much rain. I pray that you comfort them in their efforts and their emergency services, Lord. Pray that you bless our time together here as we do the business of the people of Sumner County, that you would guide our decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
As a motion and a second.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Shell, second from Commissioner Driver. Any discussion or additions or corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. A report of the chairman. I have no report at this time. Everything will be covered on it. Report of the county mayor.
The booklets that you received this evening, this came from the comptroller's office. It gives you parameters on redistricting. There's a lot of leeway that you have. You can change districts. You can change the number of seats. You can have as many as 25 actual commission seats. You can have as few as 9. You can have as many as 25 separate districts. You can have as low as 9 separate districts. So you have a lot of leeway during redistricting, and this gives you parameters of what you can and can't do. And Wesley's here to help guide us as we decide, the commission, on what the county commission districts and the school board districts will be, and then make adjustments so we can equalize the population of districts, right, Wesley?
Correct.
And so that's just kind of a brief synopsis of what this says, but you can read through it, and this is a great guide to give you ideas on what you would like to do and how we can better represent the constituents here in the county as our population grows.
Okay, thank you.
My report.
Thank you. New business.
I'll get you some. I don't have any.
Election of chairman and vice chairman. Are there any motions for chairman?
Nominate Baker Ring.
Second.
Okay.
Move nomination cease.
Okay, there's been a motion to cease nominations. Is there a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. And election for vice chairman.
I'll nominate Mr. Hinton.
Nomination for Mr. Hinton.
Second.
And a second on that.
Let me decline.
Okay, or not.
Nominate Mr. Driver.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Driver has been nominated. Is there any more nominations?
Move nomination cease.
There's a motion, nominations we cease. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Mr. Driver is now vice chairman. Thank you. All right. Mr. Good Commissioner Good is not here because he had a business in Nashville and was not going to be able to get back in time. Commissioner Taylor is sick, but he's here with us.
He's listening, but he can't vote.
Right.
Or participate.
He's
just-
listening, but he
just
cannot
listening.
vote
Or speak.
or speak. Okay, that works. Now, I want to introduce Wesley Robertson. He's from CTAS, the County Technical Assistance Services, and we are assigned to him, from my understanding, to be our liaison and the person who will walk us through this. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Wesley, if we can hear from you and
Sure.
figure out what we're doing here.
So once again, I'm Wesley Robertson. I'm with UT's County Technical Assistance Service. This is something that we kind of get roped into every 10 years. So the regulatory agency for redistricting in the state is the Comptroller's Office. The office that does this is out of the DPA, which is it's the Property Assessment Division. They have a really small staff, so every 10 years they reach out to us and they say, hey, CTAS, can you help us run the computer at these redistricting meetings? So that's kind of why I'm here. Counties have the option to do this in-house. Some counties do that, some counties don't. Y'all have chosen to use us, so we've got the GIS software. The Comptroller's Office will give us a file. They actually got the data last week. They're working on compiling all that data for every county, and then we actually have a meeting with them Thursday, and I'll get your Sumner County census block data. We're gonna look at the data here shortly, but it's only at the district level, it's not at the census block level. And when we redistrict, we've gotta move census blocks to redistrict. So, let's see if I can, oh, there we go. So why do we reapportion or redistrict every 10 years? Really, if you're not gonna change your district structure, we're really just reapportioning. But we use the term redistricting when we talk about this typically. TCA 51111 says, hey, counties, you need to do this every 10 years. So that's the section of the code that kind of dictates to counties that it needs to be done. That includes your legislative body, your county legislative body. That includes your school board, which is something we'll need to talk about at some point in time, because I do not believe your school board districts line up with your commission
No,
districts.
That's correct.
There's 11.
So that's gonna mean we'll have to do that work separately. Most counties, that lines up. So then when we redistrict the commission, the work for the school board's already done. So there's really no work to do for the school board, so.
Many counties, Leslie, and I'll stop you, they're not set up like we are. Some of them have 25 commissioners, many of them have much less than that, correct?
Yeah. So y'all have 24 commissioners.
And 12 districts.
12 districts. If you wanted to change your structure, the state would prefer you do it now. Up until about 5 years ago, they said right now is the only time you really need to do it. But Washington County wanted to do it between censuses. They did it about 5 years ago. The state kind of pushed back and said, hey, you really need to do this at a census. There was a lawsuit, Washington County won, so theoretically you could redistrict anytime you wanted to. The state prefers you do it now. It just makes sense. We've got the new data. If you want to do that, then now's the time we would do that. Is that something y'all are talking about?
We don't know.
No.
Okay.
No, everything's on the table, I think, and I'm just saying that, you could have separate districts for 20, you could have 24 districts, you could have 12, you could have less, you could have 25 districts, they want to add a seat.
Yeah.
And, but we don't have a highway commission because we have an elected highway superintendent.
Yeah. So we will have to look at your school board map. And I was gonna say mayor, executive Holt just said this, but you can have as few as 9, you can have as many as 25, you can have up to 3 per district. And the TCA reference is 55102 if you want to see that. And I talked about this already, but you need to rebalance your school board also at this point in time. Theoretically, we could end this tonight and y'all could say we're not doing a thing and you would be fine. But you're setting yourself up for a lawsuit is what the attorneys would tell us.
Correct.
So if somebody sues, then you've got to answer to that in court.
You've got a balance of, what is it?
10%.
10% either way.
6% or something like that. Was it total
10% either way.
Yeah.
Um,
It's an over, and then there's a percent under, and it's a total of 10%.
It's a 10% deviation. We'll say, it might be the next slide, but your districts need to be contiguous, so we can't chop a district up and have it split. I don't think this is an issue here, but there are in the state minority districts. Some of those are created through old lawsuits. You would have to be careful about those, but I don't think that exists here. I don't think that's an issue here. Also, colleges and military bases are included. This year we've got the option also to exclude prisons. Historically, those were all counted. So theoretically, you could have a prison of 3,000 people, and if your district sizes were only 3,000 people, the one person that lived on that road could vote for themselves.
Charlesville County would be facing something
Yeah,
like that.
and
Prison.
they elected to remove their prison
Good.
count out of their
Good thing.
population. Let's see, this is the deviation we were talking about earlier. So this comes from case law. the legal minds feel that you're gonna be safe if you can get within a 10% deviation on your districts. And we'll kind of look at what that means, but if one of you were theoretically 9% over your highest district, and your lowest district was 1% under, you'd be good at 10%. And actually, when we see this on the map, there's a chart at the bottom of the GIS software that calculates all that for us. Really, this is a simple process, if you could exclude the politics, but everything in county government would be simple if we could exclude the politics sometimes. Y'all stop me and ask questions if you have any questions.
Do you have the count on the way they're laid out right now?
We can look at that. The 2010
Yes.
counts?
Yes.
I think it might be on one of the maps we'll
Okay.
look at later. If it's not, we can get that. Thursday, when we meet with them, they are gonna give us some maps for you all. I think they're big maps, and those would be the old maps. So that'll be something I'll bring to the committee and y'all can have to work with. Even though all this got delayed because of, is it COVID? Is that why this got delayed? They still have not changed the deadline, so we are gonna have to hustle to get this done. I mean, typically, we could have started this in the late spring, and you can take your time and look through it, but we don't really have a lot of time.
Never seen it like this, have you?
No. You all primary here?
Yes.
Is your commission primary?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so when's that?
December.
May,
Yeah, but
What's the
December is,
pickup?
so December is when pictures,
Yeah.
typically when
Full petition.
papers get pulled.
So really, is the election administrator in here?
no.
Okay.
I think she's got, your only representative.
I'm
Okay.
just thinking through like
Yeah.
a deadline for when y'all really need to be
We really
done.
need to be doing it in November.
Because if people are picking up, they're gonna have to know what the
Correct.
I
difference.
think our goal would probably be to take it to the commission in November to give us time to meet that deadline,
Right.
but also to pull papers in December.
Yeah.
But Wesley, once they determine what the districts are in the school board district and the county commission district, you can generate a map pretty quick.
Oh, seconds.
Because all you're doing is equalizing the population. So theoretically, and if you just talk about theoretically, old parts of a city probably didn't grow as fast as Greenfield that developed, and then those areas develop faster. They'll actually shrink in the maybe parts of the rural part of the county that didn't grow as fast. They'll expand, and so it's a pretty, that part of it's pretty easy. It's the political part. Well, I don't want, Bubba Wade Creek in this district, and we want to push it over to this district, and then that changes everything.
Yeah.
So that's what takes a while, right?
I mean, theoretically, we could probably finish this tonight in about an hour if all we were doing is moving census blocks.
It's pretty straightforward.
It's pretty.
Which we don't
straightforward.
have yet, so.
Right.
Correct.
But you should get those when?
Thursday, we will have your data, so maybe at the end of this meeting, we can kind of schedule a time.
It's on the agenda.
Yes.
Set a date for the next meeting.
Okay. Here are your numbers. 2010, you were 166. You're 196, 281. That's a gain of 35,000 and some change. 12 commissioners, 2 commissioners per district, so you're representing, it's about 16,000 per district. You did have a pretty drastic deviation, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, you are one of the big growing counties in the bubble of Davidson County. So we've got one district that's a negative 15%. We've got one district that's up 35%. So as Mayor Holt was saying, that district that's 35%, it's probably going to get smaller. That district that's negative 15 is probably going to get a lot bigger.
I hope they're next to one another.
I've looked-
Not likely.
Here's a little breakdown. Well, We could just look at the map, but if y'all wanna look at the numbers, here are the numbers.
Oh, it is yours.
I didn't already knew it was mine.
Then you could tell me, are they next to each other? I looked, I think they are next to each other.
Up north of town they are, two of them are.
So.
Can you,
Yeah, can we go back to that, please?
Yeah. Are we up there?
Yeah.
And I'll share this with y'all. I'll email it to Commissioner Ring. Just show you.
Yes, it is.
So this is a map that the Comptroller's Office created. Can y'all see the map?
Yep.
Okay. And it'll give us a pretty quick picture of what's going on. So what is this? This link you all can go and look at too. It's a public link. You can go out here and look at any county in the state if you want to.
Told you my head was hurting.
There we go. It popped up. So that's District 6, and y'all know these without me telling you, but they're 20% over. So we would look probably over here for some of these to get bigger, or over here for some of these to get bigger. This is the biggest one, District 4. It's up, that's the 35%. So we're gonna look over here and over here, I guess, for it to get smaller and those to get bigger. This is the part where, I mean, I'm driving the computer. When we get the census block data, y'all tell me, Wesley, click that census block, and I'll move that, and we'll see what the numbers give us. Any questions on this? Is this what y'all would have expected to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what we saw last time.
I've heard from some other mayors in Middle Tennessee that they think their number is low.
Well, our number is low. They have
Y'all
counted
y'all
that.
are in that group as
Yes.
well?
Yeah, I had a conversation, myself and Mayor from Rutherford County at the GNRC meeting. And I believe Rogers Anderson said something too. So it's Bill Cutter and myself went up and talked to Congressman Rose, and we got undercounted. And he even admitted that in DC, they tried to count him as part of DC population. Because I think there's something going on a federal level to where they're trying to hold on to some of their states that are losing ground. And so we're gonna try to look into, after we do this, because we don't have a choice now, of trying to come up with something where we have another census. Because remember, this is gonna have a detrimental effect on us for 10 years. We're gonna be undercounted, underrepresented, and we should easily be over 200,000 people. And Rutherford County is very disappointed in theirs.
So
The mayor of Gallatin told me that she was looking at the census record, the Census Bureau information, and one day it showed that in Gallatin, the count was 76% of the people that responded. The next day it was like 95. She thinks they just adjusted it.
They just brushed it over and just said that's good enough.
So for cities, it's gonna mean a whole lot more to them. Their census drives a lot of their state funding.
Correct.
It's gonna drive revenue for us too, though.
Probably not as much as the
No.
cities, but it
Schools.
Yeah. So if you do a special census, y'all gotta pay for it.
We know.
Yep.
So that's just something to keep in mind. Typically, you'll see cities do a special census. I know I live in Springfield. They did one a handful of years ago, and they would immediately see a return on that.
Well, I think if we did it, it would make sense for the cities and the county all to go together and do it together.
Yeah. Any other questions on the process. So it'll look a lot like this, except it'll be a lot more detailed map. We'll pull it up, we'll see the census blocks when we zoom in. If you've never seen census block, there's no rhyme or reason to the shape of them.
No.
They're not all perfect squares. A lot of times they're following roads, that kind of thing. Creeks, yeah. One thing we'll want to keep in mind when we're doing this is our voting precincts, because we could theoretically carve a voting precinct out of a district, and then the election administrator is probably not going to be too happy if there's nowhere for those people to go vote. But theoretically, that could happen. They have all that mapped on here for us, so we'll know where they are.
Well, I think too, and I'm not speaking for our election official, but I believe that she is going to convenient voting places too, right? This next election, where you can vote anywhere, any citizen in any precinct. So that will help us some,
Yeah.
but that, we still need to have a voting precinct district, I would think, in each district.
Yeah, that, I would yield to her on that, but I would think so, yeah. Any other questions? This was really a short one, just because we don't have the data yet.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Could you put that back up there with the deviations?
Yeah. Let's see, they gave me a PDF too, this might.
There, you get it all figured out.
Y'all probably
betcha.
can't read that one, can you? Let me see if I can make it.
They said we got smaller, so I'm happy.
Yeah, you had a lot of population. You had a ton.
Oh, yeah, that can't be right. Too many farms got turned into house lots.
So we only have 3 districts that are higher.
Only next month.
Well,
But see, that's.
No, it affects
that's-
everything, but
yeah, that was another,
That's the 196,000 divided by 12.
Right.
correct.
So
Correct.
that's why, they
Yeah.
didn't, it wasn't that somebody, that a district lost stuff.
Right.
It's
Oh,
just,
I
it's
know.
it's
Understand.
It's under that 16,000
under
number, I
that
got
six,
you.
yeah.
I could add the 2010 district numbers on here. I bet every district grew, just some didn't grow as fast.
can you do that? Have you got a chance to do that, just see how we all grew?
I don't know if I could get it for you right.
We can do it.
Oh, okay.
I'll
We can do it
email
next meeting.
I'll email it to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting.
Mhm.
I promise you that the whole
That makes
Yeah.
county
sense.
grew.
There's no way our district's strong.
Yeah, it would have had to, because you went up 35,000, and I'm looking at 5, and there's, yeah, so everybody would have went up.
That makes sense.
16,357 is ideal.
Everybody else shrunk, so that makes sense.
Correct.
Okay.
District 4.
Do you know what
That's her.
I'll try to,
Yeah.
I mean, just for information.
yeah, I'll email that to you. I'll bring a longer cord next time.
All right.
Okay, so it went from.
But hey, it worked. You
So it
got
went
it.
from,
It worked.
so 2010, it was 13,387 per district, it went to 16,367. So that's the difference, it's about 3,000. Each district to catch that 36,000.
Yeah, pull that other one up, Leslie, put the deviation up.
Right there.
So what was the average the last time, 13,000?
13,387.
So every district grew.
Every district grew.
Every district grew, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the first district grew by 600
About
people.
500, 600.
Yeah,
Is it in the northeast?
yeah, it's the far
Far north.
northeast.
Okay.
Got
So,
it.
any
Your
thoughts
district one or two.
on changing your makeup?
They haven't even started, this first
Okay.
It's our
meeting.
first get-together.
So, if that would be good for us to figure that out before we,
Start in.
before we jump into the reapportioning part.
Well, Mr. Chairman, you may want to have another meeting. When are you ready to go? When you get the information?
I'll have it Thursday,
Yeah,
so
but I mean, when are you going to be ready to go with this?
we can talk about.
Because
some
he's
dates.
meeting with other counties as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So it's not just
That's what I'm
us.
saying.
Not the only game.
I've got 3 other counties that I'll be working with, and they have not met yet, so y'all are number 1. I've got my.
Pull out your calendar and see if we can figure out when we wanna meet again.
I'll tell you, sooner than later.
We've already kind of talked about next month, and that was not gonna be good for some people.
Can we meet, can you?
Chris, are you hearing us?
Leah, how far
Yes, sir.
do you
Okay.
advertise it? 5 days. Can you meet, can you get on a schedule, Mr. Chairman, where you can meet weekly, and then you can always cancel meetings? And you can schedule, and you can have meetings.
Well,
if
the
you
issue
want
is
to.
that is with we've all got committees that we're on that we have to
Well,
meet too.
actually, you have nothing on Monday the 30th.
That's correct, and that, we talked about that as a possible meeting date. Michelle couldn't come, was there anybody else who couldn't come the 30th?
She's gotta come, she grew up more than anybody.
Well, if she's not here, we can just cut up her district however we want to.
You gotta talk to some of those people in your district, that's right. What about,
Commissioner Taylor, could you come next Monday if we set a meeting?
Why don't we come on Tuesday?
Yeah, that's what I'm
We're already
saying.
here
Have a
for
Okay.
Well, you've got,
Committee meetings.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tuesday, the,
Tuesday, the library board has got a meeting at 3, they'll go 3 to 5, then you've got
but
EMS,
you can meet over there
education.
in my
We're
conference
not
room.
meeting on.
we've got education and
They
gen
don't-
ops
they
on
don't-
on the 31st.
Let's have a big enough room. We're
But
not gonna do
you're
it.
gonna have a big room, and they've got this room.
They do have it in the commission chambers.
Well-
I'm just saying, if they don't start meeting and you start scheduling meetings, because what he's saying is, they need to make a decision on what they wanna do, so you can give him some direction, so when he comes,
John, we're all here.
so I would schedule a meeting every week.
Okay.
And then you can cancel.
I say if we're all here anyways for our committee meetings, there's probably very little on the agenda for our committee meetings. We're all here, let's just.
Tuesday, the 31st is education and general ops
And EMS,
and EMS.
5, 5:30, and 6. And so far, every committee has got something on their agenda.
Could this committee meet at 6:30?
Yeah?
That's good.
I mean, I'd rather meet since we're already up here.
Since we're already up here.
31st.
So Tuesday, the 31st, can you be here? I mean, does he need?
He doesn't need
You
to
don't
be
need to be
here
here for that
first.
meeting.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be here for that meeting.
You need to be here when we make a decision on what we're gonna do, may leave it the same, and that's when we need to start the process, right?
Okay, so we will schedule a meeting on Tuesday, the 31st for 6:30. Okay? Now, the next week, Labor Day is Monday, there won't be any meetings.
Once you do it on,
We
once you
want to
schedule.
schedule something on
once you
September
sch-
7th?
Once you schedule Tuesdays,
You've got, on Tuesdays, you've got
School board
historic, yeah, the school, you've got historic at 3 and roads at 4:30.
Okay.
Do you want me to 7th?
Board meet the 7th. The 13th, the only committees are budget, legislative, is that correct?
Yeah, but those are ones that usually take longer.
Right.
What
If
about
we
the-
did,
The 14th?
Unless we met at 4.
E911 will
Oh,
be
what if
here.
what if we met in September on the 14th and the 28th? It won't conflict with school board, have plenty of access to room. That'll give us 2 meetings in September, then if we need to go weekly, we can.
The only thing, there's no one on planning that's on this committee, so no, you'll be okay. Well, no, Chris Taylor.
Chris Taylor,
Yeah.
but you're gonna have to start meeting. If you wait till the end, I'm telling you.
right, when
it's
does
gonna be
planning
bad.
meet? They meet on Tuesday, the
They
14th?
meet the 28th at 5 o'clock.
Okay, well, I can't meet on the 28th, but let's go back to the 14th. Can we meet on the 14th?
What
Baker,
time?
y'all work it however you need to, and I'll make sure I'm there.
Okay, can we meet at the 14th? What do we want to do, 5 o'clock? Does that work for everybody?
Leslie.
Not especially.
Well, what I'm saying is, they're trying to get organized. So once they get organized, my office connect with you when you can meet. I'll
Can
with
you
the
meet on the
chairman.
14th?
He said no.
Wesley, you said no?
How about the Baker,
What
we
about
go
the
to
next
the
one?
27th?
If I had to, I probably could. I'm coaching a high-powered Little League team. That's
Oh.
important.
That's
Very
important.
important.
21st is school board, right?
School board.
You know, we've got nothing on Thursdays. I know y'all hate to come back up here, but
Could do Thursday.
Thursdays are fine with me.
The Thursday the 9th is the
You okay with
commission
that?
meeting up in Springfield.
Yeah, that's the.
If any of us could go to that.
I'm not
Commissioners
sure
meeting.
if I can do the 16th or not.
Is that?
I'm not sure I could do the 16th.
Okay.
Well, why don't we keep the 7th, what we already said, and then do the 23rd on that Thursday?
Did we say the 7th? I thought we said the
I thought it's
14th.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm out
we
on the
did.
7th.
Yep, sorry, we did say the 14th.
That was school board meeting night.
Yeah,
And the 21st is also school board meeting.
so could we do the 14th and then do the 23rd?
I'm telling you, you need to schedule more meetings now, just schedule.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're
So
trying to
what
figure
about
out.
Wednesdays?
Yeah, we're
What about
trying to do-
Wednesdays?
Well, give us a minute, let us figure it
No,
out.
I got
Yeah,
fire practice
I'm
when we
just
go back to
asking.
church.
I could do, I could make
And
that
I think I could zoom in
Mhm.
and drive if I had to, so if
Would Wednesdays at 5 work?
Wednesdays
Yeah, I can make that
are
work.
good for me. I know it can be a church night. I have to stay away from that for practice, so.
I can make
I know
Wednesdays
people
work if
would.
that's what works best for everybody.
Okay, do we want to do Wednesday the 8th?
What's the earliest people would be comfortable with?
I can't come before 4.
Okay, before 4.
Right.
I personally don't care,
Well,
mid-afternoon.
you two are retired.
You're gonna try to do it at 5?
You're semi-retired.
Are you good at 5?
5 is good. If we can meet 4, that'd be fine too.
So Wednesday the 8th?
I can't afford the impossible for me.
Okay, the 8th for 5.
We do breakfast there.
Yeah.
So Wednesday the 8th at 5.
And could you come to that one? Okay.
I'm good on just about every Wednesday, really.
Okay, so we're gonna meet Tuesday the 31st and talk about what our options are. Wesley does not need to be here
Yeah,
for that
don't need
one.
Wesley.
Okay, then, we're gonna meet the 8th when he can be here. And then we can meet the 14th. Whether he's not
Perfect. Then you
necessary.
got you some schedule.
Right.
Okay,
Good.
so that'll get us the next 3 meetings. Does that,
Should we go ahead and schedule the 22nd on that Wednesday just in case?
Why
we
not?
need it?
Yeah.
sure,
September 22nd?
Yeah, I mean, that way we can communicate it out to everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If we don't need it, it's easy to cancel it.
And she
Correct.
can get all the notices out. And make
what's the
it
date, the
correct.
22nd?
22nd.
And
it's
what are
a-
the meeting times?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, all of
Each,
them.
all of
Over
them.
5.
Except for the first one.
Except for the 31st will be 6:30 because it's after
So we got
after the other
31st,
meetings.
The 8th,
14th.
the 14th.
Okay, so we've got the next 4 meetings scheduled.
What's after the 14th,
The 22nd.
Were they all at 5?
Except for the first one, which you're not gonna
Which
be
you don't
needing to
worry
come to
about. Yes,
anyway.
the rest of them are at 5, yes.
And that's at 6:30.
The first one is.
It's after education and gen ops.
We got this thing now.
The last week's the 22nd.
And the 22nd at
Give us the
5.
E911
Should we do the
board.
29th and that'll get us through September?
Might as well.
Let's do the
E911.
29th too.
We're gonna schedule the 29th also, get us through September.
It's on the 13th at 4
13th of
Let's see.
September.
of September at 4.
Also at 5, right?
We'll do the
Correct.
9/29 also at 5.
I won't be here.
Okay,
Well, we may not
9/29, we're adding that one as well?
Sure.
Yeah,
We may not need it, but we'll schedule it.
Might as well. When's the drop dead date again? We need to get this done.
You're gonna need
For
to do
y'all,
it
it's
in your
probably
November.
early December.
We need to do it at our November meeting.
I would prefer to have it before the commission and the November commission meeting.
Mhm.
Agreed.
And you, because you realize your December commission meeting is a week earlier
Think we can get it
anyway.
done
Right.
By the 3rd Monday of November.
I would hope so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think, because if we get it, that gives us, because we normally, people start pulling papers for commission races
Yeah.
in
If-
December.
like the
If
18th of
not,
December or
Scott, you
something.
might have to call, and
Special
I forget
call.
what a special call meeting in December.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think you can get it
I think we
done.
can get it done, yeah.
And
But
like
also
you said,
just-
we're starting earlier than the other counties, right? That's good.
Well, then remember, once we get done with ours, we have to do the school
School
board.
board, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yeah, Commissioner Taylor.
The chairman of the committees hadn't been selected.
Yeah, they have.
It has.
Oh,
Oh, you didn't vote on it?
yeah.
Well, this committee was the chairman of the legislative committee from the previous.
Correct.
Because we had to go ahead and have a committee
Because
picked.
didn't we list them by name when we
Yes.
voted on
Yes.
them?
Yes.
We did.
So they won't change it.
It will, this committee will not
This won't- This
change.
committee
And
won't
they,
change.
they nominated one, I think. You voted on it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there was no point in having a committee that was gonna change membership after a couple of weeks, so.
That's it, isn't it?
Anything else? We've set several meetings and we're ready to go. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, stay here.
You may dare agree.
If you're opposed to adjourning, you can stay here as long as you like, till they kick you out. Okay, now let me put all this on my calendar.
Okay.
He lost his whole gas.